Boom. Yes, it is I. We are back. I'm probably bringing you bad news right now, but we still are the Giants guys. Yep, you can see all those NYs flashing there and some of the gear. Yes, you are listening to the Giants guys. We are here to entertain you for a period of time, and you're probably right now in mourning, and I'm going to tell you this is for you.
I'm glad he didn't tell us in pre-show.
Yeah, that's great.
That was a nice ad. He clearly had that prepared.
To all my Giants fans, to all the Giants fans, we feel your pain. We may never be the same, but we will fight. We will never give up. We will never give in until Jones fumbles one more time. All right, now listen.
Oh.
So you are listening to the Giants guys. I am Craig Santucci, your host and owner and operator of NYGiantsRush.com. These are my guys. You've gotten to know them. Michael Stewart, Jeff Spiro. Mikey Fresh is off today. And so we're honoring him in spirit. We've got a lot to talk about in not a lot of period of time. We're going to try to keep on point. So I'm going to start off with a general conversation for you guys. And that's basically injuries. There was some major injuries. Stuff. Yeah, like so I'm just gonna rip through a handful of the big guys. It was a colossal day for injuries yesterday. McCaffrey out 4 to 6 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Broncos quarterback Drew Lock, rotator cuff. Anthony Barr, linebacker, torn pec. Bosa went down. Bruce Irvin went down. Sterling Shepard went down. Like major NFL superstars went down yesterday. So we're going to get into Barkley because, yes, it is a Giants show. And like as I mentioned, you are listening to the Giants guys. And today, we just hope you love us. No hate today. However, we do need to talk about why is there so many injuries. So I'm going to start off with you, Jeff. Is this a product of no camp, no OTAs? No preseason? Is the body not ready? And I ask you this because I do remember when Michael Strahan wrote his book and he was saying that he was on the beach in California, that it took him a while to get back into football shape. Football shape meaning hitting, running, a certain clock that runs in your body. Do you feel that has a lot to do with what's going on? There's a rash of injuries. Go.
It's got to be a factor, right? These guys did not have the normal time that they would to prepare and get their bodies ready. But at the same time, it just seems like a freak coincidence because we didn't see it in week one to this amount. And, Saquon's play, those ACL, MCLs, non-contact in kind of injuries, they happen all the time. It just seemed like a slew of them yesterday. Like the 49ers, 2 defensive ends, like in the same 3 minutes, ACL, MCL go down.
Yeah.
So it's crazy. It seems like a freak of nature kind of thing, but the only kind of redeeming thing is that we weren't the only ones. It's not like they were all Giants. So I think a lot of people feel our pain today.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of NFL cities right now in some sort of mourning or disgust or anger or disappointment because, like if you're the Broncos, you've been waiting for a quarterback forever, right? If you're Carolina, you go to you turn the TV on to watch 22. You're all about McCaffrey. So, Michael Stewart, are you putting stock into the fact that these guys aren't not that they're not in shape, that maybe that they're not in football shape? Like, so you get a lot of these soft tissue injuries and and ligament injuries because they're just not stretched out or they're just not in football shape. What's your thoughts?
I think it has a lot to do with this year and what we had no preseason. We had limited contact. These guys are great athletes. They're well conditioned, but they have a routine. And every year they go through it and they have to build up to that football game shape. And it's, like you said, it's not like just being in shape. So I think it had a lot to do with it.
Spiro?
Yeah, I mean, listen, there's something to be said about like, the shock to the system about getting hit. Like it's not about physically being like nimble enough, but it's being hit multiple times by an opposing team. You could practice all you want, but against your own guys, you're not really going 100% when you're doing your practice, your
Sure.
practices. So, the Saquon injury, the ACLs are going to go no matter what. That is just, pure unluckiness. It's just that happens. But like some of these other contact injuries, I feel like your body gets used to the abuse after 4 weeks of preseason, then you go into the real season. But the rash of injuries though is just absurd. It was just
Yeah.
absurd. Like the Broncos lost Locke and Sutton.
Yeah.
Their best wide receiver, the QB combo in years, and you got to feel for them. I mean, I feel for us most,
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
definitely.
No
I
doubt.
mean, we lost Shepard too, and everybody keeps sleeping on that too. Again, Shepard, but it just sucked. Yesterday
No,
sucked. I was so
yeah.
deflated.
And by the way, like show notes, as I told you, I don't wing them. There's I read you off 5 or 6 names. The list was like 15.
Yeah,
Like there
it's
were like
over a dozen guys.
Yeah, there were a slew of
Big
guys.
time names too.
Stars
Big time
going
names.
And I'm sure that's not the end of the list. You're going to hear more guys coming out as the week goes, right? So I'm a big proponent.
Apparently,
Of
one
what's
thing.
that?
Apparently, MetLife is a huge cause of injuries per San Francisco 49ers. So they're blaming everything
I
on
heard that
MetLife
too.
On
Field.
the turf?
Yeah, so they changed it. They actually had MetLife check the turf to make sure it passed the grade of being able to be played on.
Talking about this year?
Yeah,
From yesterday, I heard San Fran
They-
came out.
they sound a little soft. They sound a little soft to me.
They do. But I mean, if there's any broken down team that you want to come to see you
Yeah.
next, I guess it's them. They're still better, probably.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. What do they have? Garoppolo and Bosa are both dinged.
And
Another
Mostert,
defensive end, and Mostert, the
and
starting running back, is down too.
Yeah.
Solomon, they're banged up.
Garoppolo, is he
Kittle.
not playing? He's still questionable, isn't he?
I think he's gonna play, but
I
he's
do too.
hobbled.
He'll probably play.
So, I mean, just in general, to wrap up, like what's going on, I'll say this. Yeah, a lot of injuries, right? We're gonna get into the ones that have hurt us. I will say what I've come across over the years with injuries, soft tissue injuries, or some of these high ankle sprains and hamstring stuff like that. It really is a proponent of stretching. These guys lift a lot of weights. They don't have a lot of body fat. They're very muscular guys. And, these muscles these muscles, these ligaments, the cartilage, it tears because all the elasticity is not there. And they don't have 8 weeks of being stretched. You know what I mean? Like some of these guys, some of these guys just got on teams, or some of the older guys, like a Barr, right? Or some of these other guys, they need 8 to 9 weeks of stretching just to get limber enough to play at that level, So it is a shame. I think anything, it has nothing to do with turf, but definitely a lack of OTAs, training camp, and that stuff is making a difference. And of course, which leads to Barkley, it's a huge. I mean, it's taken the wind out of everyone. What I saw on Twitter yesterday and today was unlike anything I've seen before, because it is, you've built this team around this guy,
Controversially too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you guys read the piece I posted today on NY Giants Rush about the state of the Giants. I mean, he was ushering in this new era. The Beckham Eli era was going out, right? And this new era. So he's the face of the franchise, and he's a very marketable guy for the NFL. You knew something was wrong the minute he went down.
Oh.
As soon as he hit the turf, you saw it. He knew it. We all knew it.
A heart jumped into my throat.
Dude, it
Yeah.
reminded me of Victor Cruz going down in the end zone.
Yeah, right
Philly.
away.
As you just know the season is over, and you just hope the guy will return to form at any point.
And that's where we're gonna go. So let's not talk about the injury, right? For right this second, we'll get to that. Let's talk short term. Michael Stewart, what are the Giants actually gonna do? because if Barkley can't get through the holes that we have now, who could potentially make a difference getting through those holes? So, and I have a really strong opinion right now on another losing season and not making an effort. And I'll get into that, but I'm going to hand it to you, Michael Stewart. What are the Giants going to do at running back?
Well, they got to bring a body in. They got to bring a body in. In fact, I put that in my article today. Possible options. You got Freeman out there. You could bring Leak back, but he's unproven. I think they got to bring somebody in, just to have depth.
All right, so they bring somebody in. Spiro, are you willing to trade? Yeah, the trade deadline is October 29th. Are you willing to make a trade and show the fan base that you're not giving up? Are you willing to trade somebody?
Well, so one thing to take note of here is that Gettleman's job might be on the line here. So he might make a rash decision to maybe try and save his job. So I wouldn't rule a trade out. I wouldn't say it's going to be at the RB position because Freeman's getting brought in to work out on Tuesday. And so that looks like it's going to happen. I personally don't hate. I mean, I know Jeff's feelings on Wayne Gallman, but I think Wayne Gallman could be serviceable as a number one back. Him and Deion Lewis have different skill sets. So Rod Smith is going to get brought up from the practice squad and be a third running back. He's a bruiser. So I wouldn't hate rolling with those four guys. Freeman, if Freeman gets brought in, do Gallman, Freeman, Deion Lewis. I don't want to make a big trade for a running back. We've already invested too much into that position with Barkley. I don't want to throw more into that and waste a draft pick. We don't have enough draft picks to go around.
Yeah.
Gettleman will lose this fan base completely if he throws draft capital at a running back in what is, let's call it a lost season for lack of a better word, right? Like Devontae Freeman, if you can bring him in on the cheap, I'm okay with that. He's not going to make magic happen. I tweeted it out today. You could bring Barry Sanders in his prime. He's got nowhere to go. If Saquon Barkley, widely considered a top 3 at the position right now, generational talent, could not get anything going in this scheme with this offensive line, then in a way it doesn't matter who's there. So don't you dare risk any other future assets to bring in another running back. I wouldn't mind, like we talked about Javon Leak and guys that we had in-house. Wayne Gallman wasn't even active yesterday.
Let's take let's take this hat off for a sec. All right, look, we've had years of losing. Years. Like I'm stupid enough, or maybe passionate enough is about the word.
Thin line,
I looked at every year since 1980. I tried to link multi-losing years together. If I could find my notes, I couldn't find 4-year spans where they were bad under 7 wins, like 4 years in a row. It was 3 years, then they'd win 1 year, and then maybe there was a couple of, but I couldn't find any. I couldn't find a year where like LT, when he tore his Achilles, or Strahan tore his pec, or Cruz went down. I couldn't find any like devastatingly bad years after a superstar got hurt. Okay? We've had so many years of bad football. We're starting to be Detroit. We're starting to be Cleveland. Like, so you guys basically have packed it away. That's what I'm saying.
I want to trade for a wide receiver. That's
okay.
What I'm saying. Don't waste more resources on a running back.
I got it. I got it. But I'm with you. All I want you guys to consider, and we can continue to talk about it, is consider this. If you go get a receiver, you're asking Jones to throw 40 times a game, and you're one-dimensional.
Number 6 pick, man.
I know.
Let him
wait a minute. If you let Jones throw too much, he'll join Barkley in the injured.
Sure.
Yes.
He'll get hurt, man.
You can't
do that,
so my thing is this, guys, is I know you don't want to get rid of draft capital. You don't want to do this. You don't want to do – I got it. But you're talking about another – this season's 2 weeks old. It's already over if we can't find a running game. You have to have some balance. And these guys that we have, they are scrubs.
Well,
okay?
Listen, it all starts with the offensive line, though, right? Like, when it comes down to it, you said it yourself. If the offensive line doesn't pick up their game, you could throw Barry Sanders back there, and it's not going to matter. So
Yep.
it's all going to come down to the progression of the offensive line, and if Colombo can get these guys going. I personally think they took a small step forward week 2, and you'd like to see that incrementally happen each week. And if you have that, you get away with a Gallman, Freeman, Lewis backfield.
By
I
committee.
agree with you,
By committee.
Spiro. I agree with Spiro because if you didn't go out and try to trade for a back, which I'm telling you, I'm like, take Ingram, give me a back. I'm gonna go do something crazy. But my other thing would be is heavy dose of Gallman. Run him 25 times. Let's actually see what this guy could do with 25 carries. Because at least there's an effort there.
Mm-hmm.
Like these other guys. Go ahead, Michael.
Let me
Go ahead.
ask you something. If that's a philosophy, why didn't they do that with Barkley? Give him the ball 25 times.
Well, I think they were on
block.
pace to. Well, the first game was a disaster. He could not get anything going. And
Well,
then the second game, he had 4 carries, and then
Yeah.
he was injured.
But
It's
that's
tough.
why you can't do that. There's nowhere to run. There's nowhere to go.
Well, listen, the run that he got hurt on, how many yards was it?
He had 28 yards on 4 carries. So,
Yes.
like, he was
looked
trending.
pretty- He was looking pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was trending in a good direction. And then,
The run that he
S
got
hit the
hurt
fan.
on might have been his like all around best run. He inside popped it outside, like there looked like he got space.
He
So
planted and that's it.
correct. I just I don't want to feel like they're giving up, and I don't want
I
to feel
know.
like it's over. And if I go trade for a wide receiver Spirit, which I'm not afraid to do either, I'm also now like, okay, you've told the world you've given up on the running game and you're just going to throw 40 times. Now I'm also putting Jones in a bad spot. So,
Yeah.
I know who Spiro wants.
Hey, listen, I don't want him to throw. No, you guys got me wrong. I don't want him to. I just want. We're now down 2 more weapons. So you got Slayton, Ingram, and that's about it at this point. You need to get him another weapon, and if you get him another weapon at running back with another draft pick, Giants fans are gonna, like Jeff said, are gonna burn the whole thing down.
I think they're there. That they're there anyway. But all right,
Yeah.
so let's go.
Moving on.
Let's go to this. I will tell you this, Spirit, before we move on, is that Sills is 2 weeks away.
Well, there you go. It's your boy. And
So-
hey, listen, they started splitting Evan Engram out wide in that second half. Keep your eye on that.
Yeah,
Well, what a shocker, right?
Yeah, it took them long enough, but
yeah.
Right.
All right.
Maybe
yeah,
they're
3
learning.
years. But yeah, Sills was 4 to 6 weeks. So Sills is technically 3 weeks away. We know that him and Jones had a little bit of, camaraderie there, connection.
and then you got the
So-
practice squad guys too, Victor and Mac. So maybe
Everyone's
they get a
scratching their
chance.
head. Why is Ratley on the field? Does he have a target or a catch? I mean, how
No.
did this guy beat
No.
those guys out? He doesn't seem like a threat. I don't know. A lot of head
I
scratching.
don't know.
Going on.
There is a lot of personnel head scratching right
Yeah.
now. We can really get into that, and we're not going to, but we can really get into it. There's been, like I said, we said this a couple of times. I thought Bachman had a really, really good camp, and they're letting him go for a guy like Ratley.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't get it
All
at
right.
all.
Let's talk about the injury. So in 2011, Adrian Peterson tears his ACL, his MCL, and his meniscus. He basically makes spaghetti out of his knee. Exactly what happened to Jason Sehorn, if you remember that. It's devastating, the injury. I know they probably do a lot of stem cell with some of these guys. He came back and he rushed for 2,000 yards the next season. Yes, Adrian Peterson is a cyborg, so the question, Spiro, is what does it look like, in general? I mean,
The injury, it rivals AP's injury. They said the meniscus got a little messed up as well. But you know what? If there's anybody that's a freak of nature that could compare to AP, I mean, Barkley is it. He's got those legs, man, and he's 23 years old. If there's ever a time to get hurt, it was when you're at your youngest possible age.
Yeah.
He's 23 years old, and he's a freak of nature. He came back from a high ankle sprain, probably too early, but in 2-3 weeks, he can do it. I'm not going to count this kid out. He's got the heart and the determination to do it. And money's on a line. He's not getting that big contract now.
That's exactly where
So,
I was going.
yeah.
That was a huge topic, and I forget if it was one of our guys that tweeted it out, but like he was probably due to get paid and extended this
Mhm.
offseason, right? Like, so I forget if it was one of us that said, well, maybe that brings his price down, and maybe he would take some guaranteed money
Quite possibly.
that wouldn't have broke the bank, because now, I mean, we've been a losing team every year he's been here, and we've lost with him, so we could lose without him. It's kind of like the Odell Beckham thing.
Mhm.
Like, you're an amazingly
Yeah,
talented
but
player.
I think he's the face of the franchise.
I agree. I think it'll be interesting. Maybe he plays another year, or is there a 5th-year option for
Yeah.
him?
Yeah,
So,
when you're a first round draft pick.
yeah,
Well, the Gettleman thing is going to be loom large because if he's fired,
yeah.
the next guy might
Dude,
not have
I
the
know, I
same
know.
kind of
I can't
loyalty
see
to him.
I can't see anybody coming in and not wanting Barkley or Jones.
Here's what I hate. It's September.
I know we're talking about this.
We're already planning for the next year and the draft and the season.
That's what losing teams do, unfortunately.
That's what kills me, though. Like 2016 was the only time since 2012 that we've had a reason to, meaningful football in November.
Since the boat trip, it's gone downhill.
If you had to put a flag in the sand, yes, it was the boat trip. Everything has sucked since then.
Well, and that's kind of why I'm just like, I wish they could do something to show good faith. If they just go, so there's nothing more that upsets me than the guy that says next man up. There is no next man up. We don't have that type of team. If you haven't read Why Giants Rush, read my piece. And it's very simple. Why we are. The youngest team doesn't know how to win. The youngest team doesn't know how to finish. The youngest team just doesn't have the experience. Everybody wants to blame somebody. You know what you blame? You blame nothing. You can't blame youth and inexperience. The issue that we have is that now there's nothing really to look forward to because the team was built that Barkley made it go or not. He was the engine of the team. So now that you have no engine, like, do you let Jones become Brett Favre and just start slinging it? Because I honestly, yes, I don't want to get him hurt, but I just want to have some fun with football, So, like, if he throws 40 times and we still lose, at least it was exciting. Watching what we're watching now, minus Barkley, oh my goodness.
I know. And the season is so young, so it's hard because we only have 2 weeks, and it's just brand new everything, such a young team, new coach and all that. But in Pittsburgh, against Pittsburgh, it seemed like once we abandoned the run and just started throwing the ball, we were moving the ball. And it kind of seemed like that in the second half yesterday, too, once we let Daniel Jones rip it. He threw 40 times.
Yeah.
And we came back. The team did not quit. I'll give them that. There were a few positives. They absolutely did not quit. The first half was disgusting, Craig. Glad you were on the road and couldn't see it.
I tried to stream it for all you nice followers out there that kept sending me like what illegal site to stream. None of them worked. You're all great followers and fans of the site and the show. Thank you very much. I couldn't get it, so I was at lacrosse because my little man's ripping some corner shots, and then next thing we know, it's halftime. So evidently I missed. And I haven't watched the all 22 yet, so I will probably report back with some nasty tweets as the week goes. Jeff, the O-line, it's a problem, still an issue. A, is it going to get better? B, how do we make it better? And C, is this really just a shuffling of the deck where Pulley needs to go back to playing center and Gates needs to go back to playing tackle? Or do we keep these guys together and just pounding it until they get better?
It's two factors, in my opinion. It's the fact that these guys haven't gelled as a unit. Like, in what sport is a unit, a group of guys, more important than the offensive line? It's that, and we played two very good defenses. Pittsburgh, arguably the best defense in the league. They're elite. They're top 3, top 5 easily. The Bears have Khalil Mack. They have a good defense. So it's those two things. So it was bound to be ugly in the beginning, and it was, right? They did not shine. I think we have to give these guys time. But I know Shane Lemieux is probably licking his chops, waiting to get a chance to go out there and prove himself. There's guys – I know Matt Part is also waiting for his chance. But once you go to those guys, if they fail, then it looks really bad. So I think you got to give these guys a chance as the schedule. I mean, our schedule sucks, but it will lighten up a little bit from the first 2 weeks. I think it's those two factors mainly, but they're going to get better if you just give them more time.
Michael Stewart, do we keep the line intact or do we bring Pulley in? Because Gates is taking a lot of heat right now. As basically, as Jeff pointed out earlier today, they tried to get the Bears to jump off sides and he didn't even have his hand on the ball. Well, okay, that's a problem. Colombo.
You gotta laugh. It was so ridiculous.
Yeah. Colombo, the offensive
Not
line
ideal.
coach, has his work cut out for him. So Michael, what are we changing, or are we not changing anything?
Well, when you make a move like that with Gates, you got to expect some growing pains.
Mhm.
Okay, they have faith in him. If they will never give him that extension, I don't sit down and talk to these guys. But that's my assumption. I think that one position if you're going to move one position and change it out, it's probably going to be right tackle, because they have no commitment to Fleming. He's a 1-year deal. So if it's one position that they're going to make a move on, it will probably be that one. I can't see them taking Zeitler and getting rid of him, putting Lemieux there. I can't see everybody else that should be staying where they are, right?
I think it's center and right tackle are the biggest question marks.
Yeah, but I think right tackle will go first. I think they're going to
You're probably right.
time.
So Spiro, if I'm hearing Jeff and Michael, it's nobody yet. But if you are going to make a move, it's going to be to a Pert over Fleming. Are you feeling the same thing?
Yeah, you know what? You can't give, like Michael Stewart said, you can't give a guy that's had no career starts 2 starts and then pull the plug against 2 really good defenses. I'd give him to the bye, and then if by the bye that's a large enough sample size at that point.
5 games, 10 games.
Yeah, if at that point he's still not doing well, you put Pulley in and you focus on getting a center next season, because Pulley's not the long-term answer. We know that. But then right tackle, you have Matt Pert. I'd say you give Fleming to the bye, but now you could put in Matt Pert or Gates, if it all really goes to hell. But Pert's waiting there to take Fleming's job. But I gotta say, Fleming didn't do terribly last week. He improved a little bit. Yeah. He didn't do as bad as he did against the Steelers. And again, this whole line deserves 5 weeks. They at the very minimum, they deserve 5 weeks to get to Colombo to really get their hands on, because this is the second week of the preseason. You've been saying that the whole time.
Yeah. I don't want to harp on that, but that's been like my thing. I'm trying to talk all these people off a ledge with some humor and sarcasm, but it realistically is. This is what, I don't know. If you have August 18th, you know what I mean? Like these are, like, again, when you have the youngest team in the league, the most inexperienced team, again,
in a new system.
Yeah. So
going against good defenses. Which way was this going to go?
Not only good, but experienced. This isn't their first rodeo. Our guys are literally like, hey, what way should I block? What am I coming down? Am I coming to, like, they're literally working it out during the play.
Well, thank God Bosa's missing next week. That's all I can say. We get a little bit of a break.
And Thomas is the other one, I think?
Yeah, Solomon Thomas. We're getting a little break, thank God.
Yeah, and so, it could – I mean, nobody wants to hear this, but you know what? In the 8th week, you could have a real solid core of guys that you can go with. Again, it's sad because you don't have anybody to run behind it. They're going to figure out the run blocking at some point, I always say that when you're young and inexperienced at a new job, the only thing you don't want to do is make a mistake. So they're so hyper-focused on not making a mistake. They're not playing football. Like, they're not being athletes.
They're not being nasty.
They're
not having fun. They're not playing loose. They're nervous for their job.
100%. Because when you're comfortable, you're calling your own number, right? You're smelling yourself. You're like, I got this, right? But like when you're like, hey, I don't want to look bad or make a mistake, you're overthinking or underthinking, or maybe you shouldn't be thinking at all. But whatever the analogy you want to use is, when you have a young, inexperienced line like this with no preseason, new CBA, I really don't know. Again, let me hit the reset button. I am just as angry and disappointed as anybody else. I am furious that Barkley didn't have a hole. I'm furious that, we didn't see a big jump, because we all had Chicago clicked off that we were winning that game, right?
No.
Well, you're
You were
smarter
hoping,
than the rest
you
of
were
us.
you were hoping that was the one out of the first 5 that they had
Yeah.
a chance at.
Yeah.
That was the one. If you saw the Giants even sniffing 500 this year, that was one you had to win.
Correct. So I'm with everybody. I just think that, if you can find it in your, in your fiber, just to realize that these guys are 22 years old. They've never played before. And trust me, I'm hinging on this, like for a good Sunday afternoon. It ruins my week too. There's some things I can't control. Like, would you want Solder in there? Would you, do you want, they're just rookies. So it's going to take time. I just don't want this to be like this ending to the rest of the season when we're only in week 2. All right, let's move on. The O-line is definitely going to have its challenges, and we hope everyone can hang in there and give these guys as much slack as possible. Let's talk about something that doesn't really shouldn't get a whole lot of slack, and I'm calling it TOM. T-O-M. Stands for turnover machine. Okay? So you guys can call him Danny Dimes. I'm calling him Tom. So my question is, when we're talking about Tom, is this a scenario of inexperience, nervousness? What the hell? At some point, he's got to figure it out. Fumbles have to stop, and decisions have to be changed. Like, I know it's only 12 weeks or whatever he started, last year, this year. But you really don't have time to grow up when you're a quarterback in the NFL.
Not anymore.
No, you're the guy. You are the guy, and I believe he's the guy. But he's got to someone needs to kick him in the sack, because he needs to realize okay, I'm just not doing this anymore. I know it's that old, I just want to make a play. Like that play where he was getting sacked and he flipped the ball out to Lewis. Yeah. Looked great. But I was like, Eli part 2, no! I was
Eli throwing it with his left hand.
Yeah.
At least Jones is smart enough to throw it with the right hand.
He did.
Yeah.
That was a phenomenal play, actually.
So let's let Spiro, starting with you. Is he going to settle down? Is this still, I don't know, some first year extended jitters? What's the deal?
Well, listen, you don't want to take away his aggressiveness and that his playmaking ability, because that's what makes the plays that we were just talking about, the flip, that it was a very important converted third down. And you like to see his aggressiveness, but that first fumble, you just hate to see it, because that's what he's done for the first 14 starts. And he had guys open. Just pull the trigger. He double pumped. He triple pumped.
Just go.
And, just pull the trigger and let it loose. That's the moment of indecision. That's what you got to get rid of. Will he ever do it? I don't know. But on his actual interception in a game, I'm not going to put that on him. Evan Engram slipped, and he got picked off. The ball would have been incomplete at worst on that play. So that is kind of just it happens. The fumble is what's killer, and he's got to know either throw it right away or tuck it in. You can't triple pump. It's very simple.
Yeah. And you know what, Michael Stewart, it reminds me of a college quarterback where you got all day to throw and you're indecisive. Pros, you're throwing it or you're not, look it off and get rid of it. You've got 1,000.
The clock's got to be there. The clock's got to be there.
Yeah, perfect, Spiro. Internal clock. Is it his clock? Is he still playing in Duke in his head where he's got a lot of time to throw? I'm not knocking him. I'm just saying maybe he hasn't played enough to have an internal clock. What's his deal?
Michael Stewart, you want this one?
I'm sorry. First of all, keep in mind he played at Duke, so he didn't have a lot of time to throw the football either.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, good point.
But I agree. I think he's trying to do too much, and he's trying to make everything happen, and it's a lot. And that fumble is going to be magnified because of what happened last year. And I agree with Sparrow. The interception, Ingram slipped. I'm not going to fault him on that. I think Jones is going to be a really, really good quarterback. He's on pace to throw over 4,000 yards right now, and everybody's mocking him.
So Jeff, I'm going to go a little bit in a different way. Like I only really got to watch the half, but you got Slayton and you got Ingram, and they're hovering at 50 to 70 yards. Like, is it scheme? Or you said it, or is he afraid he's going to throw a pick? Is he afraid he's going to fumble? Like, where are we? Give me, Jeff, where is Jones? Where is Jones's head? Because I'm not sure which guy we're getting. The guy who walks into the game last week and bombs it to Slayton in the touchdown, like right off the bat, and you're like, boom. And then you get this guy who sometimes, I'm doubting that he's confident in himself.
That's exactly where I was going. Where is the confidence? Where is the guy in his first career start that went to Tampa and lit that game the hell up with rushing touchdowns and doing whatever he had to do? Like, I need that confidence. He's got to turn the page and just be like, I'm the guy. Give me a little swagger. Go ball. Go ahead. Like, he's tiptoeing. His pocket awareness is not there. They need to change up some drills where if he doesn't get rid of the ball in 2.5 seconds, you just beat the crap out of him, because this is just going to keep happening. Like, that fumble was 100% his fault. He had two guys open. Somebody broke down the field, maybe Bobby Skinner or something, showing two guys running across. He double pumped on each of them. Get rid of the ball, dude. It's the big time now. As far as I know, he didn't have the best offensive line in the world at Duke. Like, he shouldn't be used to just sitting back there. He's just got to go, be decisive, and go.
That's what you call a shameless plug for Bobby Skinner right there.
Yeah, you're welcome, Bob.
You're getting a little prop there. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I did. They really love throwing a slant a lot. I've noticed that. And maybe he needs to open up the field a little bit and throw a little more down the sidelines. Just open the field up. I don't know. I'm not an offensive coordinator, but I noticed that a lot of slants.
Well, I'm not. I mean, putting aside, people don't believe in Jones because of the turnovers, not because of when he does throw it or when he scrambles. Like people are like, this guy's not going to make it happen. Like, I already know he's an NFL quality quarterback. He could definitely be a top 10 quarterback if he could get over some of these things, because he does have the arm. We already know he's a cerebral cat, being a Duke guy. He's got the size. He put on the weight. But yeah, there is this other side that I'll throw at you guys and see if you guys want to take a quick shot at it, is where the hell is Garrett? Like, last week we had on Russ Salzberg. For you people, you're listening to the Giants guys, and we are here on YouTube and Vimeo and the rest of those platforms. You can get us on the site, download it. And last week I was talking with Russ Salzberg from Big Blue Live about Garrett, and he said the game plan was great. And he almost sold me on it. And then this week, like all week long, I've been thinking, okay, it's not Garrett. Guys, where's the jet toss, the bubble screen, the rollout, the pitch back? Like, when you are low on experience and talent, you improvise. Bill Belichick's been doing it for 20 years. Like, he's never had the best athletes and the studs. He utilizes, he pulls one way, throws the other way. Like, is he really – Jeff, is he really helping Daniel Jones right now? Because Garrett seems like he's going through the motions. I'm not seeing his offensive coordinator giving him the best opportunity.
Definitely concerned, because as soon as Jason Garrett got this job, maybe the reason he took the job was, I have Saquon Barkley, right? That had to be in his thought with every play or series of plays that he designed had to be around Saquon Barkley, and now he's gone. So what does that do for the offense? You don't have a Saquon Barkley type guy ready to back him up, or, what does it mean? You have to get creative, and I'm definitely concerned about that. We thought, Colombo and Jason Garrett coming in here was really going to make this look like a different team, and somehow new coaches, new players.
It's the same team.
It's the same product.
Would Eli be around if Twitter was around? Would he have made it to 2007 Super Bowl? I don't think so. Because we got to give this guy a little more time. A little more time.
I know.
And
So,
this-
Garrett or Jones?
The whole everybody.
Yeah. Listen, Spiro, I don't want you to think for a minute like, yes, we're all anxious to finally get going, right? We just want to win. We want to taste it.
Yeah.
We are all the same.
We're
just
all pent
wanna,
up.
Correct. Yeah. All I'm saying is that with Garrett is, what do you got to lose? If you do well, you get a head coaching job. If you
Let's see
don't
some
do
RPO.
well,
I agree. I hear you.
if you don't do well, what happens? You come back as the offensive coordinator
You
again?
keep your job in the biggest market. That's
Yeah.
You gotta be patient, guys. You know how big an NFL book is? A playbook's like this.
Right.
thick.
Right.
And
He's
they didn't
starting from
have any
page 1.
preseason. It's a whole new offense with Jones. He's got to baby feed him. He can't throw everything at him. He got to remember
True.
everything.
Michael Stewart is always the voice of reason.
I
He's
know,
he
100%
is.
agree with you,
That's why he's always here. 'Cause
My
he talks
buddy-
about the show.
My buddy Tom said it too. He watches the show all the time. He's like, Michael Stewart is just that voice of reason. He's like, calm down, everyone. Here's what's happening.
All right. Well, again, I love it. I love the yin and I love the yang, and we'll move on to the next topic. I'll leave this with you on the offensive thing. You're right. He might have came for Barkley, but he didn't help Barkley out last week either, right? All I'm looking for, listen, someone answer. I know, Michael Stewart, you're going to get this because I know you. So you know what, Michael? You're not even allowed to answer this question.
Michael Stewart, text me the answer real quick.
When you have Jeff Spiro, when you have a bad or let's say upcoming young offensive line, what is the first play you put in the playbook that you use? When you
Screen.
have trouble blocking.
Screen.
Ding, 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 ding. Screen. They don't have
Yeah.
to block, right? We don't. When you have an offensive line that struggles, what do? You let them come on in and you throw a screen. We're not throwing screens.
They ran it in Dallas all the time too, which is something I don't understand. Like, I don't know why they haven't utilized it more. I'm guessing there's a reason behind it. I'm hoping.
Zeke was constantly running downhill.
Yeah.
With
Oh.
he's just always running downhill. And
Right.
I don't know why we're 2 yards in the backfield every time.
Yeah. So like, and I knew Michael Stewart, you were gonna get that. So I had to take you out of running.
Michael Stewart was like, don't waste my time with that.
No, that's
Exactly. Yeah. And so that's kind of like, you're right. Big playbook, whole thing. I remember there used to be that commercial with Hasselback. He's sitting on his couch and I don't know what the product was, but he's like, yeah, I'm reading a book. It just happens to be 800 pages. So I get it, but sometimes you got to improvise and add something in, right? And right now, if Gates can't block, center screen. If Fleming can't block, screen to the right. And if you're talking about bringing Leak back before you froze up, Jeffy, or dang, I said it.
He couldn't help himself. He couldn't help himself.
Hey, Craig, I got one for you.
Yes,
how about
please.
this? Craig, how about this? When Sills comes back and they activate him, let's do it. Odell Beckham, throw it out to him, let him pass it, because he used to be a quarterback.
There you go.
Oh, Michael Stewart.
That's
Right
fire.
now, I will tell
Fire.
you right now, if that happens, I will send you $100 bill. I mean, that is. Wait a minute. Hang on a minute. Look.
Write it down. Right, he's writing it down.
What is
Why
it?
you got bucks on you?
Sills touchdown pass?
Nice. Yes.
Look at you.
There it is. Throwing out the
What is this,
Benjamins.
All right.
Who keeps $100 bills that local?
Look how Chris that one is.
That's that.
You know-
That's that
you know
under the
what's
bed
funny,
money right
Jeff?
there.
I was
That's
gonna
under-
say, who has cash anymore?
True.
No wrinkles in that.
I'm still a cash guy.
All right.
Dang.
Move it. Listen, you're listening to the Giants, guys. Thanks, everybody, for the support. These guys have been banging out great content. So go to NY Giants Rush and check that out. We'll have this up and ready to go. Jeff Pilgrim is going to produce this up, and we're going to get it up. I hope you guys saw my promo video that I did this week. I had a little bit of fun with that. I didn't have any pictures of the guys, so I just nicknamed and gave them all nicknames. Was
Mechanic.
Yeah, the mechanic. The speed. I couldn't pass it up. It was so good. Mikey Fresh. And then was it the steel driver? Because I was thinking of a golf club. But it was the driver, like the getaway driver, right? So yeah, right? Because he's a golf pro. So I hope you had some fun with that. You guys have been great. I'm going to move on to the last topic of the evening because we're going to try to keep it flowing. I know you guys are in mourning. I'm going to get taps ready to play on the way out. So my question to you guys is defense. I don't want to hear any flack about the defense. I really don't, because you know what? Our defense has been terrible for so long. I mean, there are some really nice bright spots here, and we don't even have McKinney, right? So I'm going to ask each one of you, like, give me one thing you don't like with the defense. That could be personnel groups. That could be a player's performance. It could even be the defense coordinator, whatever you want. So I'm going to, Spiro, starting with you. Something you don't like, something you do like on the defense.
Don't like 3-man rushes. Please, for the love of God, be done with that because it's killing me. Trubisky on that back-breaking touchdown right before half, he had 7 seconds to throw the ball. Find somebody. Someone's going to get open after 7 seconds. It's just you can't ask a cornerback to cover for that long.
That's
and
right.
one of the rushers that came in to spy on Ebner and on Trubisky was Ebner. Like, come on, guys! Like you gotta do better than that. But otherwise, I gotta say I don't hate what Graham has been doing for the most part. He's been doing a pretty good job. The secondary it's young, and he's been keeping these two teams in check for the most part. And that second half was a masterpiece for the most part. They didn't let up any points last game. What I like too, Bradbury, man. Bradbury, he has been everything you could have imagined and more as a number 1 CB. Shut down a very good wide receiver in Allen Robinson. And he's been great, phenomenal back there. So that's my big time.
Did you want to trade for him?
Trade?
Yeah,
That's
you
the guy I
said
think
earlier
we
in the show you wanted to trade for a wide receiver. Who did you want to trade for?
Robinson.
Allen Robinson. Yeah, not bad. Not
See,
bad.
that's why I get paid the big bucks. I make the connections.
Smart. I like where your head at.
Where I go. That's what I do. Michael Stewart, one thing you like, one thing you don't like.
Well, Spiro just stole my thunder.
He does that to me all the time.
I don't
Mind
like
melting,
the
guys.
three-man
Mind
front.
melting.
3-man front. I don't like it, and not personnel for that. You got to have really good pass rushers on the edge. I wish they would do more 4-3s. I'll be honest with you. That's what I don't like. What I do like is that they show an effort. They don't give up. They gang tackle. Listen, they're 4th right now. I know it's only a small sample of 2 games, but they're 4th overall, or 6th overall maybe. I'm not
sure. Top 10 for sure.
Yeah, so I'm happy with them, and I just wish they would maybe change it around a little bit. Go back to a 4-3. It's not working 3-4.
What do you like?
Bradbury, obviously, he nailed it. I mean, that guy's been a stud. I like seeing the pass rush by committee. I see different people getting involved. We're getting some sacks and we're getting some pressure on the quarterbacks. I mean, you want to see more guys. Yeah, you're seeing different guys get involved, which we knew it had to be. I'd like to see Marcus Golden get.
Where's Golden?
Exactly. I'd like to see him get involved. Where's that guy from last year? If you add him, defense is doing now, all of a sudden you got a pretty dangerous defense. Disliked the run defense in the 4th quarter really bothered me. When it was time to get off the field and get a stop, we had him at 1st and 25, and he runs for 23 yards or something like that. Like we got our best tackles on the bench.
That was mind-boggling.
I don't understand, but overall, the effort. These guys are fighters. They are fighting. I'll give them that, and they're short on experience. They're short on talent. Let's be honest, but they're fighting, and the effort's there. I think going into the season, we expected the offense to put up points. Expected our defense to struggle, and I think that's a little closer than we expected as far as the who's helping us out.
I'm with you. Bradbury's a real easy pick, right? With his play, and he seems like he's just slowly getting better each week, like through camp. Remember, what did we say 6 weeks ago? Anybody hear about Bradbury? No, I don't hear anything. I think it was me and Spiro, Spiro. We were like a little nervous because nobody was talking about him. Slowly but surely, he has just continued to come on. So I'm with you guys wholeheartedly. Like, seems like a really good cat, really nice fit. Like him a lot. Right up there. Again, nobody's ever perfect, but I don't think you could have asked for anything more out of Martinez. He's as advertised. Like
Yes.
he didn't have a greatest game.
Big
as
first
he
week.
did. Yeah. But I also, Spiro was starting, again, I got to get into the all-22 a little bit more. The defensive line didn't play as good as it did in week 1. So I think Martinez got caught up a little bit more. There wasn't a lot of gaps to shoot through, a lot of traffic to kind of scrape through a little bit more. But I still, he still has, I don't know, I think he's already, 2 games. He's got something like 15, 16 tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think he
got 20, 21, right, altogether?
Oh, really?
Maybe. I think he had 12. He had 12 in week 1, and I think he had 7 or 8.
They were less impactful week 2. That's for sure.
Well, inside linebackers and tackles 2 games, isn't he?
Yeah, probably because he's got to be 20 tackles.
Yeah.
So I think he had, like I said, I think he had 12 week 1, 8 week 2, right?
Yeah,
so
close.
yeah, so he's as advertised, right?
Yeah,
like I got some guy I had to mute on Twitter this week. Like, stop.
Oh God, that was ridiculous.
I take care of him, Craig. I jump in there.
Well, listen. Here's my thing. I've always been this guy. I can go through since I was a kid. I can name you every player that I didn't like, but I still rooted for him. You know what I mean? Like I could go through every. It's just the way my mind works. I can tell you what number they wore. I can tell you what year they were. There's always a guy that rubs me wrong that I don't like. But when he's out there, I'm still rooting for him. When you go out of your way just to say how bad somebody sucks, you got to root for a new team. Like, I mean, it's just it. Like yes, Martinez was brought here to do one thing only. Stop the run. Why? They gave up 19 rushing touchdowns last year. 19. Where's my calculator? I mean, you're talking about – I mean, maybe you guys are better at it than I am, but that's let's see. 19 times 6. That's 114 points we let up on the ground. If this guy cuts it in half to 8 rushing touchdowns, he's worth his weight in gold. Yep. So Bradbury and Martinez right now look like home runs, right?
Can I make a vote for our departed 5th person.
Yeah.
Lorenzo Carter.
Yeah.
Looks pretty damn good. I mean, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
say, Mikey Fresh would have something to say about that.
I meant to bring that up. He'd be happy Lorenzo Carter is showing up.
Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing that up, Spirit. Yeah, another real
Represent
nice.
Mikey B.
Yeah.
Mikey
B.
We love you, bro.
As you guys do. Look.
Together below.
So yeah, I like that. What I don't like is it's a little bit of a combination thing. And again, not a bitch fest, but you nailed it, Jeff. You put in Austin Jackson and B.J. Hill instead of Leonard Williams, and like that kind of stuff makes me bonkers because
Dexter Lawrence, you're taking
Dexter Lawrence, who is playing phenomenal. Playing great too.
Like it doesn't make sense.
I'd take him tired. Oh, here comes the voice of reason. Here we go.
All right. You can't have every guy on the line play every snap. So
fair.
They needed a break. So give Chicago credit for seeing that, and they attacked it.
Yeah, fair.
It wouldn't have mattered if they were into those plays. They had to come out sooner or later, and that's when they would have attacked them. The problem is that they need reserves who can do the job while those guys take breaks.
That's the problem, is that we needed them the whole time.
Well, Austin Johnson was supposed to be a run stuffer. That's the crazy part. That's supposed to be his best part of the game.
Yeah, evidently not.
They ran right over him.
Right.
Yeah, and you're right. Kudos to Chicago for noticing, they got the scrubs in. Actually, I'm a big fan of B.J. Hill, but it still doesn't matter. You can't do it by yourself. So the personnel groupings definitely sometimes are suspect. I'm not a big fan of the 3-man rush. My thing is, please just play some old school Giants football, some smash mouth football, and just blow some stuff up. You know what I mean? Like I don't like a finesse game. I don't like 8 DBs. You know what I mean? Like, so that was my thing. And I'm also like, it was more of a last week thing than this week thing, but like we're hurting for linebackers. Jeff, you nailed it. You said 11, and I think it is 9, 10 or 11. We have linebackers coming out of our ears. Why are we short for personnel groups? Like, why is Carter Coughlin taking snaps at inside linebacker last week in practice? Like, I don't care if these guys aren't ready. Put Brown and Crowder and Brunson in the game. We don't know what they could do. You drafted them for the love of God. Like,
and why is Connolly wearing purple?
Oh God, you had to do it. You had to do it. He's going to be getting some PT, by the way. Anthony Barr injured. Boy, Connolly's going to get a lot of PT.
Yeah.
So someone was kind enough, as the Twitter followers that I have, how lovely they all are, said Connolly got in one play, made a great hit in the backfield, didn't make the tackle, slid off, and he never got back in the game again. I don't know if that's true.
It is true.
I've seen
it too. And he did fly into the backfield, but he went too fast. He missed the tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not going to cry in my milk, but like some guy was like trying to tell me that he was never going to start over Martinez. And I'm like, yeah, I'm very aware of that. We were, what do you call it? He was basically the other 4-3 linebacker when they rolled into a 4-3. Like, he was off the field when they run the 3-4. Anyway, so that's kind of what we have. You're listening to NY Giants Rush. Short, it's sweet. I'm going to get my music ready to play on the way out. Check out the website. Yes, we don't have a running game. Yes, our line is in trouble. Yes, we have a young and inexperienced team. There are some guys like Dexter Lawrence and Love and Bradbury, that are playing out, just playing ball, and we have to be happy with that.
Stick with it. Stick with it, guys.
And I know how hard it is to be patient because it's been a long time. But we've been here before. We're tired of being here. I get it.
It's like the sound of my Sunday night. As my wife was like, grow up.
Have some fun.
My wife tells me that now.
Have some fun, people. Lighten up a little bit. There are some things that are going to happen. I know it's not happening as fast as you want or we all want. I am fully on board that it's disappointing. I don't know how you rebound when you lose a Saquon Barkley. Hopefully Ingram and Slayton
find out.
Yeah.
Let me just add one thing. We had to wait 7 months since the Super Bowl for Giants football, right? For football again. Let's not wish the season away and start looking at next year. Story. Let's get better this year.
Yeah.
This season was always about just getting better, right?
Yeah.
This was not our playoff year. I look at next year and beyond as years we compete. Let's just get better and try to enjoy. So,
yeah.
Amen.
Yeah. Amen. Because, and there's a lot of truth to it. Like, it just isn't what we want, but it's better to have it than we don't. Yeah. So, just.
You miss it all year.
Yeah. And you know what? Like, forget, I'll leave you with this. Okay. This is where we are as a franchise. I said that Gettleman brought in Plaxico Burress, Antrell Roll, Kavika Mitchell, and we won some Super Bowls, right? I said then he went and he drafted Barkley and Jones and Slayton and Love and Zimenez. And someone tweeted me back, no, of course he drafted Roll, Plaxico, and Kavika Mitchell. No, we didn't draft those guys. They were free agents that when he was in charge of playing personnel. And I bring that up just to show you that the guy has done pretty damn good for the New York Giants as a franchise. Hate him for his stand-up comedy. Hate him for his accent. But you got to give the guy credit. He's old school, but he sees talent. He sees a lot of talent. It's just not winning right now. And it's just going to take time on a young team. You're listening to the Giants, guys. Check us out on nygiantsrush.com. I'm supposed to say OUT out really funny, but I can't remember how I do it.
OUT.
OU2.
Yeah, I mess it up every time. So Yes, I totally botch it every time on purpose, but now I can't remember how I botch it. Thanks, guys, for listening. We'll see you guys next week after San Fran with NY Giants kicker Lawrence Tynes will be joining us after San Francisco. You know him, Super Bowl kicker. I mean, Lawrence Tynes. I called him Larry. He didn't like it. Tune in next week, and you guys will get to hang out with Lawrence Tynes and the rest of the crew. Good night.